You've reached Can I Call You? How can I help?
I need help. Is my relationship in trouble?
Can I call you? You've called 8 times. What is going on? Hi, you've reached Can I Call You? How can we help you?
Hi, welcome to Can I Call You, where 3 women navigating different kinds of relationships and running very successful startups are going to be answering all of your questions on the internet that you are too afraid to ask anyone, or maybe you just want to ask somebody that has a little bit more experience.
Hi, Eva. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm so excited to be here.
Tell me, Eva, introduce yourself.
I'm Eva. I'm the founder of Maude. And I thought we should all be talking about the questions that we get asked, because I think all of us get asked a lot of questions. I know I get asked questions on text all day, every day about running a company, relationship questions. People want to talk about their sex lives, some of the things I don't want to hear, but I am here to help. It was in that spirit that it was like, let's talk about this stuff.
Totally. And yeah, so hi, I'm Charlotte, co-founder of Dieux. And that's a skincare company that started 5 years ago. But part of Dieux's rise to fame is I started to blow up on social media, and I just saw how many questions people have. My DMs are constantly being blown up, yes, by people asking skincare questions, but then also asking questions about their partners, about their businesses, about how to be a CEO, how to deal with mean comments on the internet. And so just being able to do this in a more conversational format, and also being able to break out beyond skincare, because that's just it's like a one-faceted view of me and my life and my experience. Just was really excited to answer some questions. And I also fucking love car talk. Anyone from the East Coast? Hands up. Yes.
Is car talk the show or the genre?
Car talk is the show.
Okay. But car talk is a genre.
It is
dare
a genre.
you?
Sorry.
How
I grew up
dare
in
you?
California.
Car talk is
Mexico.
or just late night radio is my personal inspiration. I've always, for my entire life, wanted to be an agony aunt, and I was obsessed with reading them when I was a teenager in magazines.
I know, dear Abby.
And that may well be the inspiration for why I created a company where people could submit their most personal and private questions. But yeah, hi, I'm Emma. I'm the co-founder of Diem. And I also get a lot of questions, both from friends or people on the internet who want to know how to start a company, especially in tech, because there really aren't that many female tech founders. And I don't have enough time to answer all of them, but I would love to be able to answer all of them, which is why we are here.
Yeah, we can't guarantee that we're giving you the right answers, but it's how we navigate it.
Tell me about how you get asked questions.
Usually it's a cryptic text. I freak out and spiral because I have latent anxiety, and then I get on the phone with them and I'm like, this is not an emergency, but this was interesting.
Mine's usually a voice note on WhatsApp where they don't have transcriptions, and then I have to panic for maybe an hour wondering what this person said while I find a place where I can listen to the voice note.
That's giving Pete Hegseth group chat.
Has this been this way your whole life?
Pretty much, yeah.
You're just the go-to.
Yeah, we're the go-tos.
This is Can I Call You?
We're opening it up to the masses.
And maybe people won't text us as much because we'll cover everything in this show.
Maybe we just tell them to voice note the show and then we'll answer their question live.
True.
And then we'll get less questions because they'll be too embarrassed.
They should be embarrassed.
But we
Some
do
of these
kind of love
questions are
answering the questions. Don't stop sending us questions. We do enjoy it sometimes.
Well, I just think it's so funny that we're the ones that get the phone calls. We're the ones that get the agony aunt phone calls, big sister phone calls, best friend phone calls, all of it.
From men and women.
From men and women.
Yeah.
Little brothers all over. And then suddenly if we're talking about something else, it's gossip. Yeah. We're emotional. You know what's interesting is, like, while we're talking, I'm realizing that all 3 of us are just very curious people and then pass the knowledge on.
Exactly.
I think just like that's how it is. It's like, I'm going to go learn and then I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you if I don't know.
Yeah.
Because half the time it's like,
I don't know half the time.
Yeah.
More than half the time. And I think that's the perfect segue into Can I Call You? Because what we are doing is that we are getting tons of questions from listeners, people right now just on our social platforms and our followings. And what we're figuring out is, okay, what are the most questions that we're getting this week? We're going to compile them. The most common ones, we're then going to answer them. And so this week's topic is going to be relationships. This does not mean that next week you can't ask relationships questions, but the most questions we get in a category, that is what we answer this week. And so we are going to be dovetailing into your relationships questions, which was very surprising because we're all founders. We thought it was going to be business, but it's the year of our Lord 2025, and it seems like there is some tensioning happening in the household.
But
can I just add that we also want the vibe to feel like a late night radio show?
Yes.
And imagine you're driving in the middle of America and you're listening to someone at 11 p.m. What question do you want to ask?
We are all in relationships,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
We're navigating that.
we're navigating it, all at different life stages, I guess. You've been with your partners for a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on 3 years now.
I don't know, 6.
Oh my God, you're so. You're like, he's been around.
He's
here.
around 6 maybe.
17.
Yep.
So
17.
know,
You've gone through.
I've gone to we've seen some things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to pull up the first question?
I would love to pull up the first question. We're going to start with a hard-hitting one. And it's a question to both of you.
Hey guys, I'm a first-time caller. My question is, how do you reconcile your heterosexuality with your hatred of men?
So I think hatred of men is obviously it's like a big lumping in of categories. And I think that when you are really frustrated with a system, you can say things that are extremely hyperbolic, but they're not actually what you mean. And so for me, it's like, I don't hate all men. I just don't. Like, clearly, like, I love dick. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's like, I love men. It is what it is. Like, you know, it's like when they say that, if this
I
was
hear
true.
everything, and why did that one cut? Like,
If
I
this-
hear everything from everyone about their sex lives, and you just caught me off guard.
But it's like, I just feel like it's one of the things where it's like, you know, if I could choose, then like everyone's like, oh, well, I would choose. It's like, well, you can't. Like, you just are attracted to what you're attracted to. And I'm attracted to men. Like, there's something there. But I'm very frustrated by people, we're going to say people that don't stand up. And when you look at just like voting demographics, for example, it's like very clear where people lie and where I feel safe. And so it's not that I hate all men. It's that if I don't know the man, I don't feel safe around you yet. So I got to get to know you before I can make a judgment. Whereas like if I'm around like a black woman, I'm like, oh, I'm safe. Yeah. And that's like fucked up. Like I wish we could just feel safe around everyone. And I do base it off of voting. So I look at the demos and I'm like, where am I a safe space?
But I think this whole entire this concept of having to reconcile is so interesting because I'm always thinking about the fact that men are getting told, specifically like heterosexual men are getting told they're terrible, but we are telling them to do better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not too dissimilar from the dilemma of like, I'm supposed to be feminine but tough. I can't be too bitchy. I can't be like, you can't be anything. Whatever this Barbie speech was. I didn't love the movie, but whatever. Out of, you know.
That is what it
Yeah.
is.
The speech was fine. So I think that's what's interesting is it's not that, I don't know how you sort of reconcile that tension when you're telling people to step up but simultaneously telling them go away. Like, how do you do that? In your own relationships, how do you reconcile this?
I think it's just,
Are they better people and you just
Yeah.
found them?
yeah, honestly, I think it's finding like men that you feel as though actually are your biggest fans. Or
Yeah.
like they are your most supportive person who, like, even if you're being completely outrageous and
They
you
just
know
think
you're
it's great.
being outrageous, they think it's funny.
I agree. Actually, the humor part.
The humor part
Yeah.
is that's actually so true because sometimes like I am being ridiculous, but I'm also like sometimes like I lose my temper. I'm a Taurus, so that just happens sometimes. And like he'll just look at me and he'll be like, he's like, I'm sorry, I have to laugh, and I'm like, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
actually fair.
Yeah.
But I also think it's like it's like my partner is proof that there are incredible men out there that actually do fight for women. Like I've been in conversations with him where he has like really like debated people that put into question like women's rights, and I just see him do it. And so this idea that like I hate all men, no, like I love a lot of men, and I really in particular love this one man. And so I think that that's the thing to focus on, and then also just finding more safe spaces. And I do think that changing people's minds is just like, do you see me as a person? Am I a person? Am I allowed to have opinions? If yes, then like you are like on your path to being a good man. But it's the same thing with a woman. Like you need to be able to look at men and be like, you're allowed to have fully formed opinions and allowed to have rights. But like that's the whole fucking point. It's like we all deserve to be the same.
So I also think this, wherever this question is coming from, we don't know if they're in a really homogenous town. I think this idea,
Yeah.
like we're in New
We
York,
all live in New
okay?
York, so
we live
it's
in New York.
really unfair.
So you kind of see every version of gender. You see every, like we're all on the spectrum. We can like look outside and see that there's a spectrum
Yeah, because
of all
we're
things.
straight, like hetero.
Yeah.
It's like we are
But
like
then you're like in these places where masculinity is so defined by certain things. And so even if you have this relationship that works and behind the scenes they're very open, whatever it is, I think that the pressure of where you are then becomes sort of
100%.
it permeates your dynamic in your relationship.
I think also you can see that even in like voting patterns. So with the last election, like
Yeah.
white women voting majority for Trump, which I still just like find so completely baffling. But it's not that baffling if you think about, like, if they're trying to reconcile their heterosexuality with their probably male husbands who are probably also Trump voters. Like, it's their way of, like, reaffirming their choice, their life choice, and not wanting to look inward at, like, the true, like, pain of misogyny and just the sheer hatred that I think, like, women and other, like, gender expansive folks feel in the world. They don't want to look at that. They're like, they maybe don't have the capacity to look inward. And so I do think there is an element of, like, a lot of people don't want to reconcile their, like, feeling of their experience of misogyny with, like, what that means for how they are attracted to their male partners.
I just find it so interesting that people feel like they have to choose. To me, everyone wins. I mean, the joke around happy wife, happy life. I make the joke even on LinkedIn about, like, buy your partner a vibrator, you'll be fine, everyone will be happy. This idea for me, like, I'm constantly thinking about this because these are the questions I get from customers, not my friends. They know not to ask me. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what they're doing. They can talk to me about everything else. But in terms of sexuality and gender, I'm getting these questions and these, like, amazing emails from customers. And there's a lot of this, like, wait a second, I bought these products and now we're all happy. Signed, Columbus, Ohio. And you're like, yep. It was really not that hard. Like, so I do think this idea of, like, what are we hating? This projection of hating men, to me, feels a little bit like we're lumping it all in, and it will never change.
It's a very unintelligent statement. It's why I think it's actually why I disagree with, like, a lot of the, like, feminist marketing statements out there, which I think a lot of people do now, with, like, the whole, I don't know, like, the pussy hat vibe, or the even, like, some of the, like, hands off my body narrative. It's like, who are you arguing against? Like, think about what are you trying to get across, and who are you talking to when you're saying this?
It's such bad marketing.
I'm like, you're saying the wrong thing. You're not going to change their mind if you're shouting at them that you hate them.
Exactly.
Like, it's simple. It's simple as
like,
that.
the reality is like, I don't actually, like, hate is such a strong word. Like, I actually don't hate. It's like, I disagree with you. I feel like you are putting the country in a really bad direction. But it's like, hey, I don't fucking know you. I don't know you. I don't know what your education is. I don't know anything about you. And I think for me, it's like when people are like, you hate men. And I'm like, no, but I do choose the bear because it's just a smarter strategy. And for those who live under a rock, it's like there's this whole meme. It's like, do you choose a man or a bear? And it's like, quite frankly, like, the bear is more likely to leave me alone in the woods. Yeah. And it's just because, like, I don't know a single woman who hasn't been, like, sexually harassed or, like, attacked or, it's like physically assaulted. Like, those things have all happened to me, and it hasn't been done by women or bears. It's all been done by men. And so I actually, when people are like, not all men, I'm like, ignoring the point. It's that there is a problem. There's a problem. And
that skews male.
That skews male. And if you refuse to talk about it, and if you blame women, like, you're literally never going to solve it. Like, it's just never going to be solved. And I think that's the frustration. And so what people go to is the hyperbole. I'm going to get your attention through shock value because that's what performs on social media, quite frankly. Like, a middle of the road, like,
but
I
it
love
performs
everyone.
within people that already believe it.
Exactly. It's an echo chamber.
Yeah.
It creates really, really strong echo chambers.
Yeah.
Did we answer the question?
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
That's okay.
But that's okay. Hopefully some food for
Well,
thought
I think
for
the start
our
is,
listener.
well, no, I think the start is like, first off, if you're starting off a conversation with, I hate men, how do I reconcile that in my relationship? It's like,
it's like you actually hate the patriarchy, which is fair.
Maybe this person's single and maybe they're out there in the dating world and maybe it's trash.
I do think that's actually an important...
That's actually true. The dating world is trash.
The dating world is trash, but I also think that patriarchy and men are not the same thing. And I think that that's something that is really, really misunderstood. Like, when you say, I hate the patriarchy, or, like, dismantle the patriarchy, sure, men have created and upheld it, but so have women. And
100%.
It's a social... It's like a matriarchy doesn't just mean it's women. Right. And I think that that's like, so actually maybe we reposition the listener's question for them.
Let's do it.
And say, how do you reconcile your heterosexuality with your hatred of the patriarchy?
Yes. I think, yes, because the thing is that if you have a partner that is a man and that shares your values, they also hate the patriarchy.
Can I derail this for 2 seconds?
In the fight
because
against
it's bad
it.
for
I have
everyone.
to derail this question. all right. So all of this stuff is like, we choose the bear, da-da-da-da. Doesn't this also then dismantle dating in real life because you're like, I'm not talking to them. They're a stranger. They're gonna do it's like
Oh
stranger.
no! I'm actually when I'm single and at a bar, and if I think you're cute or if I think you are funny because I overhear a conversation, I will introduce myself to you.
No, but I'm saying in general, I feel like because we've created this narrative around men are trash, then in real life people don't talk to each other.
Well, they don't have as much like tolerance, I think.
I think
when
that
it does actually require tolerance to get to know someone. And I think
You're
like
British. Are British men opening with better lines? Like I just
no,
wanna...
worse.
I don't know. I also think.
Why do you think I date someone from New Zealand?
I also think that
God,
dovetails. That dovetails into online dating, which I was very familiar with because I have been single more recently than both of you.
Yeah.
I think that people don't talk to
Well,
each other
Emma
in
doesn't
real
know
life.
when she was single.
Yeah.
That's hilarious to me. But no, it's like I've been very single throughout my life in New York, and people do not talk. Like I always made the first move
Right.
because I was like, this person will never come up to me.
I think that has a lot to do with the narrative that we're projecting around like men are terrible. Listen,
I do
I think
think
it
that
depends on the man. I think some women are terrible.
This
I think a lot of
actually
people are terrible.
really
It's true.
gets us into a very good next question. So around the concept of like dating is trash and like being in a relationship. So like say you've taken the next step, you have reconciled with your heterosexuality, you now find yourself in a heterosexual relationship.
Hey, can I call you? My question is, do you consider watching porn cheating?
no.
Neither. I don't understand why
No.
people find it such a big deal.
No, but I don't want to know about your habits and when you're doing it.
I
I'm not
think
that
it's
I don't
uninteresting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very interesting.
No.
Like I'm like, well that
Well, okay, so in Diem,
yeah.
so many people are like, it's cheating. We have arguments about it. I'm like, what?
I don't want to know about it.
I like go in there on anonymous and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What? It's,
I don't say
well,
that, obviously, I'm nicer.
No, I
but,
know. But like, let's start from do we think that there's already tension in these relationships so they think it's cheating?
I think that there's probably tension, but I also think there's a lot of like insecurity.
But here's my question. We all watch movies, right? We see clips on the internet and maybe there's no penetration. Suddenly porn is like the cheating part because I'm like, we've all seen porn. It's so uninteresting when there's like when they're just sitting there doing. I'm like, this is so boring. They might as well just be playing with Play-Doh. I find it to be boring, and I know that I hear about this topic all day every day.
So it's really interesting. I actually had a friend call me about this years ago, and she was like, "I don't give a fuck if he watches porn because I don't know when it's happening, but when I see him liking like women in bikinis, that drives me fucking crazy." And so for me, it's like with porn, here's the thing. I don't want to know what you're watching. And I don't want like a detailed record. I don't want you to know what I'm like. That to me, I'm like, I don't know if that, maybe one day. I'm also only 3 years in, so maybe we'll get bored at one point, right? Like, I don't know. But for me, it's like porn. It's like very like voyeuristic, and sorry.
It's also like means to an end.
Here's the thing.
I do think though that the next thing with that is another question that we
it's
have.
It's a parasocial relationship, which is a relationship, which is not porn.
But that's where the Instagram models becomes difficult. So it's like, is Instagram following or engaging with Instagram model content if you're a man engaging with a female?
Do you know
actually also vice versa?
I think the issue
cheating?
with that is like your partner is being really sad. Like that is so sad. That
It's
girl's
so lame.
never gonna get with you. Like,
or like when they comment, I'm like,
ooh, did we get?
Do you think Emrata can see your comment?
Okay. So
she's too worried about her haircut. Like, what are you doing?
You're like, she doesn't care about you.
So porn,
too hot.
not an ick. Just for me, don't tell me about it. But if you're engaging with somebody, that's a parasocial relationship. It's the biggest ick
It's so icky.
on the planet because I'm like, it's just, I'm like, ugh. Like, I think men are hot. I also think women are hot. I'm not engaging with any of that. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, you look so good, baby. Like, I've seen people's partners post that. That is a public comment. It is fucking
so embarrassing.
It's so fucking lame. It's so embarrassing. But I also find it extremely disrespectful to your partner because I think that we take online as it doesn't exist. But do that in real life. And so this will be an interesting dovetail into the porn conversation. But
why is that different from sending someone you know a text?
So that's
why.
No.
Okay, wait. Let me finish the thought.
Worse than sending
Let me finish the thought. But if I was with my partner, okay, and because we're all in this digital town square, I am with my partner, and he says to someone on the street, "Oh, baby, you look so good."
back it.
Murder on the street. Like,
But I wouldn't murder them
jail.
because
Quite
I'm
simply.
jealous. I would murder them because they're embarrassing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Well, also
Deeply
because you're
embarrassing.
making that woman
Not because of me,
uncomfortable.
because like I don't want to be with you when
Well,
you're
it's
saying those
actually
things.
not even like, I'm like, I don't even feel embarrassed for myself. I feel too embarrassed for you.
It's
that
actually
I can't get
it's
over
actually like a mass suicide through just like everybody through secondhand
100%. I
embarrassment.
don't
We
know
all
you.
just
I don't
die.
know you.
But I think there's that piece. I also think you're making the woman uncomfortable because whenever somebody hits on me when I'm with my boyfriend, which happens less, but when it does happen, I'm also like embarrassed because I'm like, ew, like I don't want you to see how I'm almost like, it's almost like my veneer of like how I'm treated. Because that happened once and my partner was like, is that like what happened? I'm like, yes, this is what happens.
The reality is that something else is going on.
Yeah, I think that you're either probably very insecure as a person, which is fine. We all have our insecurities. So I think there's like a multi-pronged approach here. It's like one, if you have your own insecurities.
Oh, actually, I have a one. Live
address
cams.
them.
See, live cams to me are
okay,
cheating.
but also OnlyFans.
Do people go to live cams? I feel like that's a one-way ticket to getting your shit hacked. Don't do that.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
But no,
I
but
think
I do think
live.
OnlyFans is interesting.
I think live cams. I think OnlyFans that is cheating because it's parasocial.
Yeah.
I think if you're just looking at porn really quickly just to get off, I don't care. That's the kind that I'm okay with. But then we're getting into nuance. So
okay, but what
I don't know,
about
this
what
person,
about
I want to know
VR
more.
porn?
Oh my God, poor, like, you got to break up with this person. They
Yeah.
are sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
okay. I guess
I don't
I'm
know
making.
if they,
I'm
Can
I
they
don't
do
know
it?
if they,
Do
I'm
they have a
projecting onto this
job?
person. Maybe they don't watch VR porn.
Are they like
I'm pivoting.
99%
I'm
like
pivoting.
okay, but this?
I'm pivoting my answer. I'm giving space for this person because I think there's more details here that we need to know because we've already just put so many like little like asterisks on things, and I think that committed monogamous relationships have a lot of insecurity built into it in a way where it's like there's a lot of things to unpack there.
But
So
I
I'm
think
giving
also-
space.
but I
I'm
also
giving space
think
for
that
this.
the-
I take back my answer.
I do
giving
think,
space.
I do think that women say if this is a hetero relationship, in which I'm making an assumption it probably is, that women are like pitted against each other. So like you see other women or like attractive women as your competition because that's how we've been raised. And so if your partner is then watching porn and you perceive that woman to be hotter than you, or they're liking an Instagram model's bikini pic and you're like, that woman has better abs, you're instantly feeling this like competitiveness. And it's because men are deemed the prize, which they are not. And so I do think that also plays into it.
Oh my God.
Are we allowed to phone a friend? I feel like you should be in this conversation. I want the men's perspective on this. First of all, I have none of those feelings. My feelings are, what is wrong with you? Do better for yourself. So as someone that's been in a relationship for 17 years, that has not always been perfect, lots of stories have happened. We can tell you another day. The reality is I'm like, that's sad for you. Don't do that. Like, how can I help you be better in the world? Let's say we're going to break up. If Ian and I were going to break up, like we got to talk about how you're talking to women. Like, what are you doing? My initial reaction is like, oh God, like, what are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself. I don't have a jealous reaction. I'm more just like.
But I think a lot of people do.
I have a jealous reaction.
Sure, I think
I am
they
not above
do.
claiming. I have
I
definitely.
think
have a
I
jealous
used
reaction.
to, and I don't anymore.
I mean, but I also think that men have jealous reactions too because I remember once, like, I was staring at a guy and he had like a really good hairline and my current partner did not, and he made a comment and
tough.
it was what I was looking at and I was like, oh wow, like I just did the equivalent of like looking at like a woman's boobs in front of like another. But I felt bad. I was like, but that's the difference is that I was like, oh, I acknowledged it. I said, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, but like I don't think a man would do the same thing.
I think where men feel most insecure is not as much on the street, like he's got a good hairline. Like I think most of us would probably be like, that's haha. It's what's happening in your DMs. It's what's happening on Instagram. It's the fact that we know that if you're an attractive woman, men are reaching out to you all the time, theoretically. Well, that's what we think. So it's the stuff that we can't see. I'm not insecure about the one guy on the street. I'm insecure about.
But you just nailed
Interesting.
that. You just nailed on the head for me on why I'm okay with you watching some nameless porn, but I'm not okay with anything even remotely parasocial. Because if you're having conversations with somebody, you're building an emotional connection.
Yes.
And for me, that emotional connection is the thing that I'm the most protective
Yeah, I
over.
don't care about the physical
It's like the
stuff.
physical less, a little
Yeah.
bit for me. I'm not like
Yeah.
I'm still like, oh, but like I am the most wonderful, beautiful, special, amazing thing on this planet.
I bring a different perspective, which is that.
But the parasocial
Let's just talk about the
thing.
practical.
Yeah.
Like, you really you're going to share a checkbook? Like, you're going to plan for taxes? Like, I'm like, is this really
but
With a man
taxes
who's
aren't-
commenting
but
on
the
an
thing is-
Instagram model's
no,
photo.
no,
like,
no.
what are you doing?
But that's what I'm
Missing the-
thinking.
No, I
Yeah.
think you're missing the point there. It's not about that. It's that you are actually sharing the fun stuff with this random person
No,
on social
I agree
media,
with
and you're
that.
sharing the taxes with me. Abso-fucking-lutely not.
I agree with that.
That
I'm
is
just
what pisses me
explaining
off.
that I think when we take it to the level of like, I'm upset, this is turned into like her versus me, my brain immediately goes to like,
Taxes.
this is so much work to be in a relationship. This
Where you
is,
care about
You're not
that.
going to start over. So let's like go back a step and say, why are you acting like this? So that we can solve for this.
You're
Because
doing the logical thing to do, whereas for me, I immediately go into the tantrum. Like, I'm supposed to be the person that you're having fun with, and you're having fun with this person online. Like, go fuck yourself. I just
agree
did your
with this.
taxes.
I agree with this. I'm just explaining. I think if to answer this person's question, they need to go back to like what's happening in their own household to say, is it something missing? Is this person, and is it something missing between them?
Why are you pissed off?
Why are you, is it something missing? Is there an anger? Is there something there? Or is this guy, which this is honestly typically the case, whether it's a person thing, they need their own validation because something did not get validated before the relationship begun.
That is actually very practical advice.
I'm just saying,
I think-
everybody's like trying to be told they're cute their whole lives, and then like this one
It's actually
person's
not
not
even
going to
about
fill
that.
that for
Yeah.
you.
Like for me, the reason why I get mad is because I feel like you're sharing a fun part with someone else. So that's where I don't feel like I'm being
But
fulfilled
let's go
on
back to
that.
the beginning. Why
the
would this
beginning.
no, before you, why has this man got to see everyone and like wink at them?
There's
That's what
something-
I'm
they need to go to
asking, like-
therapy. So in conclusion on that question, therapy might be a solution for you as a couple. No, I'm joking, but also not joking. I do think that, I think it's both an introspection on you as an individual and why you're reacting, and then also what's wrong with them. Like,
It
why
is
are they
what's wrong.
doing this?
Yes.
And is that something that you're able to reconcile? Or is it something that you actually have deemed that's my boundary and I don't want to engage with it?
Because there's to an extent you do have to accept people for how they are. And it's like if you're trying to change every person that you're dating, like you're actually picking the wrong people.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
you're not picking people that are values aligned with you. And
Or
that's
that,
something.
that you feel respected by.
Yeah. But everyone has a different bar. And that's the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
For the bar is in hell in some cases. But
I do think that on that note,
yeah.
we can probably move on to our next question.
What's the next question?
Hey, can I call you? My question is, to be happy, does marriage matter more than a career?
Eva, I'm going to kick that to you because you're the only one that's married here.
I did
you're
not,
married?
I've been married for 16 years.
I was not invited because I didn't know you.
I've been married for so long. Who am I? First of all, I never thought I would get married. I wasn't like the person that
How
was.
old were you when you got married, if you don't mind me asking? Like a child
I
bride,
think
like
I
20?
was 26.
Literally
wow,
child bride.
Child bride.
Dumb.
Teenager.
But
I'm 38.
I mean, I
I'm
know.
31. I have rings on that finger, but they're not marriage
This
rings.
is my grandma died, so that's that ring, and then Ian finally got me a ring. But other than that, we had like brass rings that were $80. I did not want to get married. That wasn't why. We just, to be practical, we're like, we want to go to grad school. Let's just get married. So we did it with a month's notice and just got married. And then we renewed our vows.
You didn't have to get him like citizenship or something?
He
That's
was
how most
born
of my
in
friends got
Oregon.
married. Yeah.
Ian is from Oregon.
I've never met Ian.
He's half Peru. What? Oh,
know.
on the next episode, we'll bring in Ian. So
That would be fun.
I
know
have
all
done
my
things
friends
in
in
a
their
backwards.
20s. Like I got offered $100,000 to marry somebody for American citizenship when I was 19, and that was very stupid of me to not get married. In hindsight, that's my
Yeah,
biggest
you
regret.
could have been divorced, and a divorcee is really chic.
I know, and he was like really cool. He was
Yeah.
like,
This is
he
really
was, like,
going off the rails.
Swiss.
Ian's girlfriend in high school was a billionaire, so I have said I wish I was the second wife, but that's a whole nother story. The point is, I have been married forever. I do think this is a very tricky question if you're getting married in the middle of like the boom of your career.
Yeah.
That is tough. And then the question of children comes up. I never wanted kids. I never wanted to get married. I'm like not the person to ask. Does marriage take away from my job? No. Does Ian
Yeah.
work in the office next to me in this building? Yes. And we don't do the same thing? Yes. And we come every day to work together? Yes. But
That's
it's like
really
we can
cute.
just be doing our jobs.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm pretty well suited to answer this question simply because I have broken up with so many people because of this. And for me, it's not that I'm choosing a career over marriage. I think marriages they are contracts, right? Like I actually want to research the full history of it, but I know that, historically women got married because they were used as property to forge deals and to make money for the family, right? So that's
4 sheep, a wife, and a piece of land.
Yeah. And so I think that, looking at the origins for it, but also as somebody who has always made their own living, my dad, when I was very young, he got very, very sick, and my mother was the only income earner for the household. And she's always told me this my whole life, but she was like, always make your own money because your luck can change, and it's not that my dad left us, he's an amazing father. It's that he got really sick, and that you can't predict. You can't know that that's going to happen. And if my mom wasn't working, we would have been so fucked. And it totally changed my trajectory. I was going to go to school in Boston. I then went to school in Canada because it was more reasonably priced. And then it completely changed my perspective on the United States.
So your perspective of marriage is
very different. But what I would say is that I always need to have a career because I experienced extreme insecurity at a young age, and it was literally no one's moral choice. I feel like everyone's always just trust the man and just get married, this trad wife thing. And I'm like, okay, he could get hit by a plane.
I never heard that my whole life.
He could hit, the man. But no, but it's you hear the rhetoric.
Nobody said that.
No, but you hear the rhetoric of the trad wife rhetoric, and I'm like, I don't know why I said he could get hit by a plane, but it could happen. I don't know, that was a bit weird.
Maybe
Listen, the coffee's getting manic. But, it's something could happen. And it's for my dad, he just got really sick and that wasn't his fault. He had a stroke. And my mom had to pick up the pieces, and she had a career. She never gave up her career. One of the hardest working people.
But wait, did they get married? Let's back this up. And then let's
actually, their meeting story is amazing.
Okay, hold. Let's keep on the question is, did they get married before? Yes, they got married before she had to have her career.
Yeah.
That's the different piece. I think this
she didn't
question...
give up shit. She gave me to my grandmother for 2 years.
Yes, so I think people who are first of all, everyone's getting married later. Everyone's getting married later. So I think the question is I'm in my mid-30s or I'm in my early 30s.
I actually think I can answer this.
You can answer.
I am in this position.
We're not the right. Go ahead.
Well, given that my career, I guess you could classify as is having probably not its peak, but it's certainly. I hope it's not its peak because there's a very long time left in my life.
Yes, there is.
But definitely having a good career currently. Have a long-term partner that I would be with. I don't want to not be with him. I just have never. I definitely when I was younger actually really thought I cared about marriage. When I was when you're a teenager and you're at uni and you're I'm gonna get married when I'm 25.
Literally
and
never had that thought.
Never.
Well, it was something that at school we'd always be you'd write it down when you're 15. I don't know, something like that.
25 does sound old when you're 15.
Really old. Yeah.
I'm okay.
And then I guess the more I became independent and understanding of myself and who I am and what I value and what I care about and what I'm passionate about, just marriage took such a backseat in my mind to the point that I've not and maybe it is because I've been in a long-term partnership. I'm not I don't, you hear people saying, oh, I see all engagement pictures and it makes me feel bad. And I'm I've literally never had that feeling.
I just think about how much money that is.
It's so expensive.
But also question, would you just go to the courthouse and do it?
Yes.
Okay, there's
if
two.
And when we get married, it would be my preference, I haven't discussed this fully, but I know that Alex doesn't love the idea of a big wedding. Is a courthouse.
Yeah.
And then a fun party.
Yeah.
Joel's a bridezilla. He wants a really big wedding. But we decided that we wanted to have kids before getting married because, for me, it's partnership. It's marriage or not. It's you're making a decision to raise, and you can leave a marriage. You can people get divorced all the time. And so for me, it's actually the decision for a partnership, the decision for children. Those decisions matter way more than the marriage.
I was going to say, I feel the heart of this question is actually
a party.
No, the heart, no. The heart of this question is am I going to have to choose? And I don't know what this person's dynamic is with their partner that they think that something will change. But I have never thought it should change. It changes more when you move
why
in.
are you marrying them if it's going to change?
It changes when you move in, obviously. It changes when you have children or even have pets, whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, every friend I know that's got married is like, it's literally no different.
It's no different.
Yeah, and I think also it's like because my partner works really, really hard, and I think he's one of the first. He's not the first. I've dated a couple of guys that worked at the level that I work, but for him, it's like very much so like we treat it equally, even though I do out earn him right now because I know what the projected potential is. But like you have to set up those things really early on in the relationship. And whenever I don't do that, that's when things goes totally sideways. And that's when I would ask that question is if I didn't set up like, how do you see my work? How do you see us splitting household costs? Like those like very boring, unsexy questions, but that can lead to explosive fights. I almost like, it's so funny because with Joel, I felt like I was being unhinged, but I was asking him like really intense questions within like
As you
month
should.
two. Because I'm like, listen, I love having sex with you, love spending time with you. You are so fun, but I can't build a life if we have differences in opinions here. And so if not, then like let's let each other go because otherwise we will really hurt each other.
I think there is that book that's like 50 questions to ask before you get married, right? I think that it's rooted in the fact that those are the, like fundamentally, if you're going to be on the same page.
Yeah, and you can ask those questions early on, and if you don't feel comfortable asking those questions early on, then you are already on a different page than from the person that you're talking to.
Yeah.
But I don't think it changes. I don't, like if you're living with someone, it doesn't change that much.
Oh, interesting.
It changes when if you're going to shift your finances or how that works. Maybe you're not going from two.
Yeah. And if you're about to make a lot of money, get a prenup.
I can't get a post-up, but Ian can have
an
Maude.
interesting one, maybe for a later date, we should get a prenup lawyer on because I had a friend who just did a prenup and her prenup lawyer said that the point of like the most important thing is understanding the law in the state that you're married. So if and the biggest thing with like getting a prenup is you like start to learn that. And so a lot of the prenup lawyers don't have prenups because they understand the legality of where it is that they reside and where they're getting married. And I was like, that's fascinating.
California, you need one because it's 50-50.
Yeah, so we're going to pencil
If I
that
was
in for a
married
future
in California
episode.
and live in New York, now what?
Yeah, it's still married in
We're not
California.
getting divorced. It's too expensive to live here. He's just going to move into the other room. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
But that's
I
actually
think that's all of our questions.
That's a great question, though. That was a great one to end on. All right, so this is Can I Call You? Remember to subscribe. Voice note us your questions. Give us some context, right? Because obviously text, you're only going to be able to give us so much. Give us some context. We can like voice modulate you if you want to be anonymous. But give us your questions. This is Can I Call You? Remember to subscribe, to follow us on our socials, and yeah, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Listen to us on any of your podcast channels. Wherever you can find your podcast. I'm repeating every word I've ever heard. Listening
Listen
to a podcast.
to everything Charlotte just said.
Podcast. Can I Call You?